Parenthood, by definition, is about sacrifice. Any self-respecting mom or dad will gladly give up sleep, savings, or even their own life for their kid. But imagine having to put your baby's life at risk in order to ease his suffering. We begin tonight with the parents forced to make that unfathomable decision. And Brian Rooney was there for what happened next.
There we go.
This is Evan Stauff, a handsome, happy baby who's about to be 1 year old. His brothers are fascinated with him.
You're getting your brother, huh? Get those legs going. Get that arm going.
Evan makes plenty of noise, but his language development is a little delayed, and he has trouble moving his right arm and leg.
He was born, I thought, much stronger than our other two sons when they first started to develop. We kept saying, wow, he's really developing quickly.
But Evan's rapid development abruptly stopped last April 1st. An irony his family always mentions, April Fool's Day.
I woke up that morning and he was laying in the bed having a seizure, and I asked Dave to turn the lights on.
They used a cell phone camera to take video of Evan that morning.
His whole body was rigid. His breathing was very shallow and fast. His eyes were fixated.
They rushed him off to their doctor, from there to the hospital, and although they live on the Oregon coast, ultimately to the office of Dr. Gary Mathern in Los Angeles, a neurosurgeon at Mattel Children's Hospital, UCLA.
It's almost like he's reacting to a hiccup.
Something, yes, and that's a term that's actually been used with these hiccup-like seizures. But you see they go again and again and again.
Evan Stauff was having waves of seizures, maybe even hundreds every day. He was diagnosed with something called infantile spasms.
The eyes
shoot over,
yep.
And you notice his discomfort. Does it again, his eyes again shoot over to his left. Seizures in the first couple years of life, when your brain grows to 80% of your adult size, are particularly devastating to development.
He might have grown up unable to walk or talk, and the seizures were constant. Over the summer, the Stauffs continued to record them on video and logged the numbers. They tried medication, but Evan's seizures continued at home in November and at the doctor's office. As a school administrator versed in special education, Kathleen knew Evan's problem was serious.
There you go. You had just a couple here, and you're okay.
A Coast Guard veteran who once worked on rescue boats, David quit his job to take care of his son. They soon heard about Dr. Mathern, who specializes in a particular operation, an amazingly radical surgery called a hemispherectomy. He removes or disconnects half the child's brain to stop the seizures.
The risk to this child for death and severe morbidity from the seizures is actually greater than the operation itself.
He likes that wedge feeling, and then he likes the window.
You would think this would be a wrenching decision for any parent, removing half their child's brain. But by the time the Stauffs met Dr. Mathern, they knew this was it.
I told him thank you for being as honest and straightforward and just willing to say, this is what it looks like. Good, bad, ugly, this is what it is.
It may seem very radical, but at the same time, it was so practical for Evan. It will kill him. It's worth the chance.
Dr. Mathern identified the problem in the left side of Evan's brain.
You can see that there's a bit of a difference between the two sides, just in the shape of the left side compared to the right.
Where'd that mama go, huh?
By early November, the family prepared for the operation and prepared for it to do some damage, vision impairment, and loss of motor control on the right side.
Come here?
Oh, it's okay.
It's alright.
When he's one, his right eye will just be blinked.
Like out to the side so he won't see anything out of the corner of his right eye. We'll still love him.
I don't care if he can't ever walk a straight line or move his arms above his head. Just to say, there's my brother, that's my dad, and hey mom, that to me is huge. That is huge.
Despite all the science, the brain still holds some mysteries. Dr. Mathern is not always certain until he operates that he's targeted the correct side of the brain. Even so, the family collected before dawn for the surgery on November 23rd.
You can't waste time with this. every day's another day lost.
The doctors went to work at about 7 a.m., and they were inside Evan's head all day. Family wondering whether the surgery would work, whether Evan would live.
You just don't know. You just try and pass the time, doing anything and to try and think about something else, but you can't.
It took 11 hours.
Yeah, you look pretty good for a little guy that just had half his brain taken out, huh? Uh-huh. You want to grow up and be an engineer? You want to grow up and be president? Okay, that's good.
We haven't had any seizures, and he's smiling and just getting back to normal. He responds, oh, there's a little crooked smile.
Evan came out of surgery seizure-free. But how do you live with half a brain? He lost the side that controls speech.
There are certain functions in your brain that you can shift from one hemisphere to another. Language, for example, which in 98% of people's on the left side, can be moved to the right if you operate early enough.
What about IQ?
IQ varies, and this depends on a couple critical factors. 1, did you stop the seizures early enough? 2, how good is the remaining hemisphere?
And what about personality? Does that change?
I've taken out right hemispheres, I've taken out left hemispheres, and the kids come out with the same personality they had before.
Now, Evan Stauff is bright, aware, and chattering.
I don't know if he's having a great day or what, but he just seems so naturally happy.
That happiness is just like, oh, gosh, I feel so much better, and let me just tell you about it.
It's not possible for this operation to result in a completely normal child. But now, 5 weeks after surgery, Evan has a shot at a good life.
To move his legs like he is, and his arms, to wave them around, and to speak, is just remarkable. It's incredible.
Evan Stauff and other children who undergo this surgery will have some limitations. But it's possible that one day you could meet him and never know that he has just half a brain. This is Brian Rooney for Nightline in North Bend, Oregon.